So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here today, taking the time to view this live, and following the announcements, we'll be taking questions. We anticipate this AMA to last about an hour today. We're trying not to go over as we tend to. There are a lot of things going on that require a lot of our attention. So, but obviously the community is such a big part of this that we want to make sure that we let you guys know what's going on. So to start, I cannot thank you guys enough for your patience. I know this has been a very, very challenging time. This has been challenging for both you guys and for us, making sure that we understand how can we move forward, recover from this and just continue to build out exactly as we had planned initially. In conversations with individuals in the community, new investors, there has been a continued enthusiasm about what we're building and ultimately what we're trying to achieve. So despite this initial bump in the road, however large it is, it has left us largely undeterred about how we're going to move forward. Now, initially, we started this by just having private conversations with, investors, larger investors, to try to raise the money as soon as possible. And what we found is, because of a number of factors, whether it be market conditions or, maybe some skittishness related to the fact that there was a hack, that there were a number of things we needed to do first. So one of the very first things that we did was just improve our level of security, whether that, obviously in the beginning, start with the audits. We did a hacking audit that has been completed. We've shared the audit report with the community, and a CertiK audit, it supposedly has been completed. However, we have not heard back from CertiK just yet about having the actual report. So we'll be sure to convey that to the community very, very shortly. So yeah, with that said, that leads us to where we're at right now. When we started to engage with the community since the last AMA, actually, there are a number of folks that are interested in.
Hey, Paul, I think we lost your video.
Can you see me?
I don't think so. Anyways, keep going.
Can you see me now?
There we go. There you are.
Okay, cool. So as I was mentioning, there are a number of folks in the community that have approached us, private messages, letting us know that they're still very enthusiastic about the project and they would like to invest more. And we really, really appreciate that. So in order to facilitate this, instead of doing these one-by-one transactions, because look, the truth is when we were first starting talking to people, the values of these investments were $100,000 and above, and then it starts getting a little bit lower, 50,000, 25,000, 10,000, 3,000, and then less. And handling some of those smaller amounts and making sure that everybody feels comfortable, we just felt like the best option would be to have a smart contract kind of handle this. And that is what ultimately led us to the idea that what we should do at this point is have another ICO, or rather it wouldn't be an initial one, it would be a second one for version 2. So our intention is to, right now, we have already begun this process. There's a number of steps involved in this. So obviously, we've worked on the smart contract. That's going to be ready by tomorrow. We've already engaged with Hacken. They're going to do an audit of the ICO contract this new ICO contract. And that'll be ready by the end of next week. So just shooting some timelines, we anticipate to launch this round of funding on the 18th. And then what we're going to do is a number of those people that have expressed interest in investing, we're just going to have everybody that hasn't invested already essentially go through that as a way to make sure that, one, they're able to access their tokens with their own wallets, two, invest any amount that they want. So the biggest difference between this ICO and the last ICO, besides the prices, is that there is no cap. Because when I was going out there to raise this money, I was not limiting anyone. If you wanted to invest 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, we would have a conversation and see what makes the most sense. What kind of deal can we strike that is fair for us and also, is good for that investor? And it seems that this may be the best course of action. So also it allows us to get some new attention to the project. So we're going to do exactly what we did the first time, which is excessive marketing, whether it be video, influencers, individuals that have, kind of their own kind of groups, and some digital advertising as well. And in doing so, I think that's going to generate more new people to the project, one, and two, just kind of revitalize the overall, the morale of the community, because look, we've noticed that everyone's waiting for something to happen. And while we have made significant progress, we want to just close this out, because we've spent a significant amount of time trying to raise these funds. And while we've made a lot of progress, we want to get back toward devoting all of our time toward the Monaco market, developing the marketplace, establishing more partners. So as part of the marketing efforts, we are going to be releasing some news related to the partnerships. We're going to try to make it a more coordinated effort versus just like announcing things on a Telegram or on a Twitter post. Have some of the new marketing partners announce some of those news as to attract, some of the larger ones, because they're saying something of significance, and maybe that'll attract more views for them. And we've already started that. So everything that we're announcing today, we've already been taking steps toward making sure that these things launch this entire week. And even last week also, because the strategy, the design, and the implementation, it takes a little bit of time. But with everything working concurrently, our expectation is on the 18th, Tuesday, January 18th, that we would be launching
the second sale.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. So we're going to be promoting this, significantly on here on Telegram, on Twitter, on YouTube, other platforms you guys are going to see, and you will see a lot of new people that are going to be coming into the Telegram. My hope is that the new folks will be just as excited as the folks were initially when they were coming in for the first round of funding. And as we generate this interest and this excitement, it'll lead right into the DEX launch, which we're allocating 2 weeks for this round of funding. If it does finish sooner, then we'll go to DEX sooner. But whatever day that we finish, the next Monday is likely when we're going to launch Pancakeswap again. So, and again, the price will be 21.6 cents, despite all of the market volatility. That's how we try the best we can to make everyone in the community whole. Because, even though, BNB has taken quite a beating, it's gone down, 28% since the time of the hack. We're making sure that when we launch everyone exactly as they were. So this is taking a little bit of time, but just know that we're protecting you from additional downside, at least in the interim, and we are taking as many actionable steps as we can to get this, back on track as soon as possible. Anything to add, Nick?
No, I think that was perfectly said. As far as what to anticipate up until the 18th, we'll try to be as clear as possible in terms of communication, how to navigate through the second sale on our application, and all that stuff. So more information to follow.
Absolutely. And I would say, with that said, maybe we can open up the chat for some questions. So Miami asked what's happening on the 18th. As we mentioned, it is going to be another round of funding. The new coin contract has been written, has been audited, and is ready to be launched. So it'll be launched I mean, it basically could get launched pretty much right away, right before the ICO, before the round of funding. It has to be launched in order to do that. So even though no one has their token, not done the airdrop yet, we'll share that information, the coin, the contract address, and we will we're going to release the information related to the pricing and the amount of coins that we're offering. Now, obviously, it's nowhere near the size of the first ICO. That's why we're, doing a significantly less amount of time, and we already have a lot of people that are interested. So we anticipate, just like on a lot of funding rounds on the first day, there'll be a significant amount of folks that come in. In a perfect world, it would sell out in a day, and then the next Monday we relaunch, and everything is great. But we are going to be doing a bunch of new marketing, reconnecting with our established marketing partners. We have some content that was supposed to be released that didn't get released. There's some content that was supposed to be released. No, excuse me, that was not supposed to be released and was released. So we're just going to re-engage with everyone that we've spoken to in the past, that we've worked with, that we've had a positive effect, and just kind of double down with some of those folks. And then secondly, just get some new eyes on the project, because we should treat this as an opportunity to grow the community, despite everything that happened. Yes, no, Norman, the price will be pegged at 21.6 cents on January, no, not on January 18th. So in a world where the ICO, the second round of funding starts on the 18th, it would presumably end on the 1st if it has to go the entire time. And then our intention is, maybe that following Monday, the January 7th. Mondays tend to be a pretty good day to launch. Unless if let's just say it ends on that Monday and we want to launch it sooner and we have a lot of marketing already kind of planned, then we'll launch it sooner, but I would like to do it the Monday after the end, because there's already going to be marketing planned for every day. So it just brings new eyes, new buy pressure to when we launch the Pancakeswap. And I think that would be best for everyone, because let's call a spade a spade. When we launch, there's going to be some folks that are going to sell because of everything that happened. I accept that. But I would like to offset some of that with some new folks that are excited about what we're doing, because when we're having these conversations, people are still excited. And in a bear market like this, it's an excellent time for a marketplace like ours, where maybe you want to diversify your portfolio with some real world items while your portfolio is taking a beating. So the pricing, we're still discussing that. We should have it finalized by tomorrow, and we're going to share a graphic that'll essentially give you guys an idea of what to expect. Obviously, we are going to take a significant haircut from that 21.6 cents, because we need to attract new investors, but it will be a step up. So the first price will step up to, we anticipate 4 levels, much like the first time. And then there will still be a gap between that last level and the launch price. And there will be, some locking. It won't be terrible, and in some of my conversations with folks, initially, I was asking people for very long locking periods. And some people were willing to do that because they see the long-term potential of our project. But, in terms of this, we're looking at something like a 4 to 6 month lock period for this next ICO, because it'll take us pretty much past the MVP. It'll take us pretty much into the launch of, kind of the early stages of the Monaco Market full marketplace, or at least the more robust version of it for the beginning. So I think they'd be getting it right at a great time. Ultimately, there'll be an operating marketplace. So it's still kind of very much in line with the use case. So that's what we have in mind. So we're not diluting. Oh, excuse me. We're not adding new tokens. What we're doing where these tokens are coming from are from the founders. Every token that you see, like I said, what we'll do is we'll probably release a new a tokenomics sheet to kind of give you guys an idea, and we won't remove the old one just to kind of, if you guys want to compare. But the biggest difference is that it's coming from the founders. Every other category is remaining the same. Whether it be the operations, marketing, partnerships, the development, advisors, all of that stays the same. This is on us, and we have to be the ones to bear that burden and to correct this. So that's where the tokens are coming from. So, that's a great question. From Dushu 108, he said, we will be using traditional shipping companies in the beginning. But logistics is a huge business, and for us to have our own shipping company, that would be a dream. But that's not something that's going to happen for a long time. Like, our expertise is going to be in making sure that we receive the right items, they are authentic, that they're made available for sale, and when we ship them, they are shipped properly, insured, because the kinds of items that we're dealing with are high valued items and they can be targets for fraud. So we just have to make sure that our buyers are covered in the event that they want to redeem their NFTs. And yeah, so again, the timeline is launch ICO. So we've already spoken to Hacken. They've said that they can complete the audit by the end of next week. So while they're completing their audit, we're building out everything on the website. Whether that's going to be an updated application that will provide you the ability to see your previous investment and your tokens there, as well as your new investment. So everything still happens on CollectCo.in, but it'll be really visual and you'll be able to understand exactly what's going on. Yes. And again, if we sell out the ICO sooner, we will launch sooner. We're not just going to wait just because. Although, if for some miracle this sells out in a day and we have a lot of marketing planned, we might want to let a little bit of that marketing kind of happen, just so that we get some new eyes and some new folks that are coming in to buy for the ICO. But we don't anticipate waiting very long. I think 2 weeks is going to be more than enough time for us to raise this additional capital, especially with consideration to the commitments that we've already received. And, I think the community is going to really have a positive sentiment as things are happening, and we will be announcing some news related to some of the partnerships. So new folks that are coming in are going to see like who the people are. What I'm working on is maybe trying to get some of these folks to come on and talk to us or talk to the community so that you guys can get a sense of like, well, what are the kinds of questions the sellers are thinking about? I mean, I know a lot of this stuff because I have been a seller in the past, but maybe there's some specific things that you guys want to ask. So we're working on that also. We're trying to make sure that the community is actively engaged with, and everyone just kind of, they feel like if you have a question, it's being heard. Yeah, the vesting schedule between 4 to 6 months. We didn't want to make it terribly long, so it's punitive, so people don't want to do it. And at that time, there's going to be a real use case. So even though there's more, tokens in circulation, people should be using them. Like we're going to try to populate this market as much as possible, so people want to use those tokens. And yes, so we're adhering to the initial ICO schedule. So we're gonna let you know that stuff for sure, but we have not made any changes to the time lock wallets that are on the website. So everything is continuing to unlock as we outlined when you made your investment. And yeah, we're gonna get some new investors, some new exposure, and really, a lot of this is about our positioning. That this happened to us, that we've been working through it, that we've been taking steps to engage with our community, and the one thing that we learned, despite this catastrophe, is that people still remain supportive about what we're doing, and that just really shows us that we're doing something right. So we want to continue to go through this path and get this marketplace launched. So I think this is the best course of action, and I actually believe instead of me taking meeting after meeting after meeting, raising 10, 15, 25, at a time, or here and there, this is just going to be able to allow us to raise a lot more capital a lot faster, and then the community can see exactly what's going on besides just taking my word for it every now and again. If you bought any tokens after the hack, so if you bought it after the first ICO, excuse me, after the first launch, but before the hack, we are going to airdrop you those tokens. So for someone like Victor, you should take a look at our testnet. We have a link. If you look at the pinned messages, we have a link, even an article on Medium that explains how you can check your balance on the testnet. And if your balance is showing on the testnet, then when we launch the token, that is the amount that's going to get airdropped to you. We have contacted some influencers, having gone through an ICO before. We have a list of over 200 influencers that we've been in touch with, or rather we've reached out to. Not all of them contact us back. Maybe a quarter of those actually respond. But we had a really, really extensive marketing plan. Like we were coordinating a very large marketing plan when we launched to Dex, and then that kind of got stopped. So we're just picking up exactly where we left off. So in terms of the amount that we're going to be raising in the ICO is a reflection of more than what we actually need right now, for two reasons. One, there are folks that have committed that haven't given us the money yet. So those are people who will be investing into this round of funding. And two, we're going to try to raise a little bit extra because, one, we need additional money for marketing to kind of counter what is going on right now. And two, we have noticed that the prices have gone up, from October, when we were negotiating with folks for the November ICO, to talking to them in December and in January. Yeah, even in November, the prices have gone up. I mean, we're still talking to some folks now. The market has corrected 20%. So, I'm trying to negotiate some deals so that people understand that, if you were charging one BNB before, or, as a reflection of BNB, your rates realistically have gone down. And we saw a 25% increase in pricing for some of the marketing partners from October to December. And that's just because the market was so hot. So I do what I do. I negotiate. I always try to get the best deal that I can for everyone. And ultimately, it's just about making sure that we have quality marketing partners, people that have real followings, that have, real influence. A lot of people call them influencers, but some of them don't have any influence. And just individuals that have like a high sense of quality when it comes to the content that they create as well. Realistically, it could be relaunched. The tentative date that I have in mind is February 7th. I would like for it to be sooner, but it could go as that's the latest time. That's launching the second round of funding on the 18th, finishing it on the 1st, and then launching to Dex on the 7th. If for some reason, if it closed on the 28th of January, I'd probably want to launch it again on that Monday, maybe that Tuesday. But we're gonna, as we're selling out the ICO, we're gonna have an idea of okay, well, this is selling out pretty quickly. We can anticipate maybe selling this out this week, and then we can start to make those plans. But we're gonna keep the community informed every step of the way. So that's a great question. So I had a conversation with someone today about some ways that we could use DeFi protocols, other projects, DeFi protocols with CollectCoin to generate interest. I'm gonna explore that a little bit more. Again, we've been working so much on the active, trying to get the funding and just get our project back relaunched, that some of those conversations end up being like one conversation in a day versus something where we would build upon it more. So the focus really has been just getting these funds. But absolutely, we're working on a few different things. But again, like if we're not partnering with another project, and we're having to build something, that might take a little bit of time. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for projects that like what we're doing, that have some kind of yield component that could, kind of involve our token. And I'm having some of those preliminary conversations. So we'll be sure to share that information with the community as well. Our expectation is largely, maybe even during the ICO, or rather, excuse me, during this next round of funding, we'll have another AMA. We definitely will be having more AMAs and interviews with other marketing partners, but more here where you guys can speak to us, and we will figure out how to do the YouTube, the live chat.
Yeah, we can't figure out YouTube just yet. We're working on it. How much is remaining to raise? Is that all for the new ICO?
So for the new ICO, again, like I mentioned before, there are folks that have committed that are part of that. Like we've raised about 65, 70% of the funds. Some of the folks that are committed in that number are going to be coming in and putting the funds in here because, again, we having to create individual time lock wallets for people. Some people, wanted to come in big. We have an individual coming in for $100,000, and then we also have a bunch of people that want to come in for 1,500, 2,000. And instead of doing a lot of back and forth with each of those people individually, just having, a smart contract handle this is just going to be just more efficient for us. And again, we don't even need to technically sell out this round of funding, although we will. That's our objective, to create a lot of excitement and to keep pushing the marketing, because through new eyes that know about our token, I think that people will come in and they'll invest. And also, we want to get new people to know about Monaco Market and want to see, we're still getting emails with people that want to sell on the marketplace, and we're vetting those individuals. So there's still interest from dealers that want to come in and sell on the marketplace, and then we have to vet these sellers while we continue our business development initiatives where we're vetting, finding the sellers that we want to work with, and then we reach out to them. And I personally talk to each and every one of them. Hey, Faisal.
Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. Just want to ask you, so the second ICO which you have announced, will that be a stable price or will there be a variable prices like in the first ICO? If you are early investor, you get a different price, and second, because I got
Great
it at
question.
0.7 when I invested, and I invested the
Mhm.
maximum amount which I could. And will there be a cap on this one also, or will there be no cap?
Excellent
Thanks.
question. So the pricing will be stepped up. So the first pricing level it'll escalate. We're anticipating 4 pricing levels, and there will be no cap. The main reason is, again, like I mentioned before, we have some investors that are coming in for $100,000 in excess, and then we have some investors that are coming in for a couple $1,000, even less potentially. So, you know, when we did the ICO, it was to get as much attention on this project, as many new folks on this project as possible, and we put a cap. If you want to make more wallets, but we're not doing that this time. If someone wants to come in and buy $200,000 in CollectCoin, then you know what I have to say to that? Thank you. That's what I have to say, because at this point it's about getting through this. And the reality is we're already at DEX. People could have bought as much as they wanted. Now, granted, there would have been a probably more significant price impact, but again, we're trying to get back to where I know we can be. I know what the potential of this is, and this has just been a setback. But you know what they say: the comeback is always better than the setback. AQ, I'd love to invite you to ask your question as well.
Hi. So just 2 questions. So the commitment you already have, you said 65 to 70%, right? So for those folks, they're not participating in the ICO. You have that commitment, and
some of them are. So when I first started having conversations with people, I would ask them to send me the money. You want to give me 50,000? Send me BUSD. And then as I continue to go through it, there's some people, again, the timing of this was awful. This was during the holidays. Like that's what probably impeded me the most. The amount of meetings that I have scheduled that I've had this week is probably more than the last, than the 10 days prior, because of the New Year and Christmas. I was just unable to talk to people. People don't want to do business deals. And it became problematic where some of those folks said, oh, you know what? I'll do X amount of dollars, but let's talk next year. So some of those people just gave me rough commitments. Some of them gave me firm commitments, but never sent the money. So that's another reason why we're doing this, is it allows us to handle the tokens so that people can use their own wallet. They can access it just the same way that we did it the first time. And we find that works really easily, instead of us having to do, there was nobody that we sold tokens to that we just gave it to them. No way, no how. I'm not interested in doing that, because what's the point? You're borrowing from your future to deal with your present, and when we launch, they're just gonna, you just sell just because you can. So I didn't entertain any deals like that. But yes, there will be some folks. I would say most people that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks, none of them have really given money, at least sent us any of the funds. It was really in the beginning that I was kind of more emphatic about that, because it was the beginning of December, before the holidays, talking to people. This is before the market started dumping. So now this is just a way for us to remind those people, have them come in and kind of be autonomous in that way. So even though not all of them will be participating, some of them will be.
So those folks that you did get funds from, are they at that? You had 4 levels. Are they at the tier 1 level? Let's say.
That's great. That's a great question. You know what? That's funny that you say that, because one of them is at the 2nd level, and one of them is between the second. Well, what we're guessing is going to be this is part of the conversation, is that there are some folks that came in already a little bit higher than what I want the pricing floor to be. But, that's all part of the conversation. And unfortunately, I'll work something out maybe with those folks. I've already worked out a deal, but I'll talk to them. But answer your question slightly, very slightly, the pricing that I have in mind, and that's actually kind of what's motivated the mindset of the pricing, is that, well, I've already established a deal with this person at this price. How much lower can we really go? If people are willing to invest at this price point, then there's demand. Does there need to be additional demand created below that to kind of drive things? So, yes, they're slightly above where I'm anticipating starting, but not a lot, and we can work something out. It's probably, we're talking like 5% difference, so if I need to, go back to those folks, because again, I think there is something to be said about people that come in early, send the funds just because they believe in the project so much, and then they're just waiting on us. It's literally just saying, well, Paul, I trust you, just set up the time lock wallet for me. Here's my wallet. Just, let me know what you need me to do. And that kind of trust is something that I don't take for granted. So I'll re-engage with those folks. But again, like I don't anticipate, it's not like a big difference, It's not like, oh my God, they spent 50% more or something like that. It's, it's just a little bit of a haircut.
So
yeah.
The second ICO, you have a 4 to 6 months lockup period, as you mentioned. Is that staged?
Is that staged?
Is that staged, meaning like after 2 months they can unlock, 20%, and going forward another 20%?
Excellent question. That's actually the last thing that we're kind of working out right now. So I've created a couple tables where I'm looking at kind of what the release schedule looks like, and just we're trying to make sure that there isn't a lot of excessive supply too early. It's not going to be like the first ICO where on launch you get 25%. I don't anticipate that. We're going to have the exact terms of it. What I anticipate is the first unlock would be after the first 30 days. That way, again, we already have so many tokens that are going to be unlocked from the first ICO that we need to be mindful of that. And we have to have a very deliberate approach to this, because it's going to be a little chaotic, but through this chaos, we will find serenity. It's going to take time. But as all of this gets done, and again, if we can get the right marketing, get the right new folks enthusiasm into this, as we go into launch, with the right sentiment, we're still a small project. Even in a bearish market, I believe that we can still be, very aggressive. Our market cap is still so low, especially with respect to just the sheer volume of items that we could potentially be listing on this platform. I think the growth potential is still very, very significant. So, I think that there's, like, in terms of the vesting period, we haven't ironed out exactly. I'll probably have that figured out by tomorrow, actually, because again, tomorrow the contract will be finished, and as part of that, you got to program those values in. So once we do that, we'll release some information specifically chronicling exactly what it is, and then we're already getting to work on building out what the app is going to look like on the website while the hack and audit is getting done next week.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sorry, you mentioned Hacken's re-auditing the new contract?
Yes.
Okay, and then the CertTech, you're waiting to hear back from them, but you said that you think it's completed, right?
Yeah, they sent us a message last week saying that the report was ready. And on their website, it's not posted there, but we've been waiting for them to send it to us, and they haven't sent it to us.
I know we're going to talk to them probably in the next day or so.
So
we'll get some answers pretty soon on CertTech. So.
But
all right,
again,
thanks a lot. It's great.
And by the way, the main reason why we decided to go with Hacken for this ICO audit is, again, they're really trustworthy and they're really good, but more so, we have a good relationship with them. And just like the first time, we talked to them, we have good contacts there, and they sprang to action, and having to pay like a rush fee. That's the big thing, because, look, these things are not cheap, they're not at all, but this is necessary. You have to do these things. We're gonna launch an ICO, no audit on the contract. We got into trouble already with contract issues. Like, this is not happening this way. And again, we've already reached out to them, and they're already willing to start on Monday. So we'll have the contract ready by tomorrow, and then we'll submit it to them over the weekend. They don't work over the weekends, but it'll be ready for them to start on Monday. And they've said that, for under 500 lines, they can get it done by the end of the week. And we're looking at 350, something like that. So again, we've done everything we can to have a really clear idea of what this timeline is going to look like, based on what everyone else is telling us. And again, we're not waiting for them to complete the audit so that we can do this. Everything is happening concurrently so that this can launch as soon as possible. And again, we'll keep everybody informed, in the community, as to what's going on. And I expect probably within the next 2 weeks, we'll have another AMA, because I expect there to be a lot of new faces in the community. I pay a lot of attention to metrics, and I see that, we've probably lost a couple hundred folks these last month, because of what's happened. And it is my intention to not only bring those folks back, but bring new people too. So all of the guerrilla, the video, digital, all of the advertising campaigns we've done in the past, and to add new things to supplement those, will be utilized, and we're going to grow this community back. We're coming back roaring, just like we roared into the DEX launch the first time. That's what we intend to do at this time. Big Bull, how can I help you?
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good. So you will have another pre-sale basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this new code that you have will be audited by hacking.
Yes. So just so that everybody knows, this contract is it's basically going to be largely very similar to the first ICO contract. The only changes will be the pricing. It'll still have 4 tiers. The time may change to 6 months, although
now the new code, did you implement any new safety measures to it?
the one major change that we're doing is obviously fixing that gas issue that we had, where it limits the gas. So we're going to correct everything that we foresee there to be an issue, or that this really is one issue, a gas issue, and then we'll edit all the other values. If we change the vesting period and the pricing levels. Besides that, there really isn't anything else that's necessary for us to change.
Tax.
I'm sorry?
Tax.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to change the tax because of the
tax.
Tax. Make it higher.
What tax? What are you talking about? We don't have a tax.
Yeah, exactly. You need to make a tax. So to get the money into your liquidity, like I'm saying, that's why how you got some of these hacks happen, because some of the projects, they don't have a tax on it. People stay away from hacking projects that have a big tax on it. If it's a big tax, they look at, okay, I might lose more money than by hacking them than actually, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It is another safety measure, because this is for the people that do these type of flush loans. They look at the tax and where they look at the gaps in the contract. So when they look at the gap, and if there's a tax gap where they can manipulate it, they will eventually. This is how,
So we're, full transparency, we're trying as much as we can to stay away from those kinds of mechanisms. The like having reflections and things like this. It's
no,
we've
not
considered.
not a reflection token. Your token can be fine. It's just what I'm talking about. Let's say some people that have, they say 0% tax. Okay. You need to implement something that's going to grow your company, like a charge or a fee, or something that's going to go to your liquidity. You get my point?
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean,
so even if you charge, let's say on a sale of your token, even if which is rational, if you charge 5-6%, where some of the projects charge maybe 12% or 13%, I don't know.
I mean, but that's great. Like, I would not pay that. Like, I would not.
I understand that a lot of people wouldn't pay that, but it is also a good safety measure, and plus it would grow your liquidity in a large portion, better. And I would also invest in it, even if the tax was. I've been buying crypto. I have Bitcoin since 2014.
I love it.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen a lot of projects, and really, really good ideas. And I seen your project is a really, really good idea, and that I would spend money on. But like I said, it's not just crypto is like my hobby. I go every day. I do a lot of I own 2 companies. Pretty much, I'm just giving you. I own 2 companies, but you need to grow your company somehow, where you can have profits for yourself, for your team, and you can grow the liquidity, in the step by step growing it, but having a 0% tax or 1, it's going to just bring you more vultures.
Yeah, but this is something that we can, I would love to.
Just think about it.
Yeah, I'm generally adverse to these kinds of taxes because, we didn't want there to be, impediments from individuals like trading CollectCoin. We wanted, at the core of this, I wanted this to be a low cost mechanism for individuals to be able to trade these items because as a seller myself, one of the great challenges that I experienced was all the fees that traditional markets
I'm not trying to say you be like Ethereum, charge $18 on a dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, it's $18 on a dollar. But
Yeah.
people still buy Ether even though it's expensive because the product is, whatever it is. But like I said, even like I said, you don't have to be Ethereum. You don't have to be. You can be a genuine company, but it's got to grow in a certain way. Any company, even my companies, I charge service fees for certain things that I do. I have to.
Of course.
I'm not trying to say, hey, charge them like Ethereum or charge them like this, but something that would grow your company as a whole, and something you probably want to expand. You want to expand your team. A long time ago, I heard you talk about your that you're going to have phone service, or was it phone service? Not phone service, some office or something like that. That you can reach people directly regarding items or something like that.
Oh, well, I don't know what you're referring to, but like, I don't know that. Are you talking about the vault? About the vault? Maybe.
Maybe I misunderstood it when I listened to it. I don't know.
Okay, the one thing I did express is that there will come a time where, the vaulting partner that we have right now, there will come a time where they don't have everything that we're offering. That's what I'm referring to. That there will be other avenues. Like, for example, we're talking to a sports memorabilia collector in New Orleans, or rather Louisiana, that he wants to sell these items, but he has like a display for everything, and he wants to like have this like museum function where he keeps them and he keeps them on display so you can view them, and then we offer the NFTs for sale. So in that instance, our vaulting partner doesn't happen. We essentially have almost like another vaulting partner, but they allow you to go look at the item if you want to. And also, if you want to take the item, obviously they'll send it to you. So that's a kind of a progression. But in terms of an office, I don't think we have two people in the same place in the entire company. There's Germany, California, New York, Toronto, another German person, Philippines, but we have a pretty diverse team all over the world. So I don't know if we have an office per se.
I think we've really leaned on the decentralized aspect of our operations. Happens to be that we're in, blockchain decentralized projects, but that's just like coincidence. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have any type of brick and mortar office location with our operation.
Oh, okay. Maybe I misunderstood.
The only aspect would be. Sorry,
you guys need to grow somehow, even if you're going to have more people involved in it.
No, of course,
yeah. I think the only emphasis is the vaulting locations and making sure that we're well surrounded around the world. Ultimately, as far as our locations, where we house these items, so obviously that's centralized. But otherwise, like Paul said, we're literally all over the world.
Yeah. And in terms of the growth of the team, we're actively expanding the team, mainly in the development space. And, we've added people, even through this crisis, we added people, because we have a goal that we're working with. And whether you have 3 people, 6 people, 9 people, you need people, and that doesn't change. So again, it may look chaotic, maybe at times it doesn't look like a lot of things are going on because of the Telegram. But I promise you, the reason why you haven't seen us as much as you did before is because there's so much going on. You know, but yeah, I'll, if you don't mind, Bull, I think I've DM'd you before, or we've chatted before. I'll send you a DM, and maybe we could talk through this tax thing again. Like, no one has been able to convince me of this so far, but I will. I'll let's you and I chat a little bit, but I'm very tax adverse. You know,
Yeah,
very.
a lot of people are. I hate paying taxes too, man. But they is listen. Most people hate tax. People who own businesses, government tax. But eventually, you have to pay something for the roads to be built. The roads are
Oh
not
yes.
free. If you want to have a drive your Tesla to Walmart or whatever heck you want to drive it to, I don't think Tesla would last if the road was made out of rubbish, whatever.
Agreed. Agreed. So for us, that use case, that revenue model is generated through the marketplace. And essentially much of the funds that we're raising is to provide marketing and developmental and like legal costs related to getting to the launch of the marketplace. That's it's like step by step by step, you know. And once we launch the marketplace and there's use case, when we're generating transaction value in terms of our ability to,
I can give you guys
trading.
a good idea regarding YouTube marketing instead of hiring these influencers. Paul, you speak good enough English. You can be the new Charles, like the guy from Cardano. You can be on YouTube making 5-minute video calls instead of spending one BNB or paying somebody $1,000.
I wish it was just $1,000. I wish it was just 1,000.
Yeah,
You know, we wish it was that easy, but we have to focus on our project and the development and the business development of the Monaco market. So it's best to partner with influencers and folks that already have kind of respect in the community.
And look, and by the way, I'm not opposed to that. You know, it was definitely our intention to be more engaging with the community, to have like before this hack happened, we were going to have, you know, maybe bi-weekly AMA so you guys can see the progress of the Monaco market. You know, we can release news related to the partnerships. We were going to be doing this anyway. So I would love to do that, by the way, you know, to make videos so that everyone can see what's going on. You know, in essence, part of what we're doing here is kind of that because we record it. Although in an instance like that, maybe I'm more rehearsed, or at least I have a more defined outline about what we want to announce. Here, it's an open conversation with the community.
Well, basically, who can better explain a project? None of these influencers can than the owner.
You're
that's
right.
where I've realized. Even that's why, if you see the guy from Cardano, Charles, is his name Charles Hop, Charles something.
Mm-hmm.
He's always on YouTube making.
This is true. Well, one thing I'm going to try to make sure I do is I'm going to get back and do new interviews. So, for example, there are certain influencers that you've already seen that we worked with that I've already filmed interviews with them. There's some that I didn't film interviews with, and I may ask the ones that we already filmed something with to do another one because you have to address the hack. We can't like have an interview and not bring this up. This is a part of our story, whether you like it or not. It is, and you have to lean into it. You know, express to them that look, this happened, and these are the things that we're doing to correct this issue, make sure it doesn't happen again, and move forward. So, I'll be doing that. You know, I like doing that. I like explaining the project and, you know, sharing what the vision of where this came from, where this is going, and why I believe this is going to be something of significance. So I absolutely agree with you. Definitely.
I wish you guys best of luck. You know,
thank you.
I'm with you. If you guys, you know, you can contact me privately, but I'll do what I can, you know. So
yep.
I really like I said, first time I listened to it, I like the idea of it, and I'm with you 100%.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I just sent you a message just so that you kind of on the top of my list, and I put you into a folder. So again, you know, if anyone wants to contact me with DMs, the truth is the best way is probably to tag me in a comment in the main chat, because I read the main chat. I'm not always all the way caught up, but I read it eventually. And my DMs are just a little bit wild. You know, I have 75 right now, and I'm pretty on top of it. But yeah.
Should we maybe do maybe one more question?
I think we'll do one more question. Prince, you know, let's chat with Prince, and then unfortunately we have a few things that we have to do. So Prince, what's going on, brother? Prince B? Maybe not. Anyone else?
Next, or should we just maybe end it there?
Maybe. Let me look at the. Wait a minute. There's one more thing. So, as a part of this, you know, some of the visuals, there may be some changes to the roadmap to some degree. You know, for example, one of the things that we realized is prioritizing some kind of staking option. So we're aggressively going to be looking at that. So that may come sooner than we initially anticipated. And again, all this development, the marketing, the emphasis on this ICO, it may push the Monaco market back a few weeks, you know, potentially. We don't have an exact idea of what that impact is going to be, mainly because we're working on hiring, bringing on more developers to kind of move things along further. So we're going to potentially have an updated roadmap, but it's not going to be a giant change, you know. You know, there may not even really be, because we're showing things in reflection of quarters. So something may happen in April instead of March, and then it's reflected in the next following quarter. So we're going to possibly be updating the roadmap, but we'll be conveying and vocalizing and explaining to the community exactly what our expected timelines are, so that everyone can understand. But again, as always, it's about transparency. It's about making sure that everyone's on the same page. The same page, and that we just, you know, we move forward. So it doesn't look like we have any other questions as of right now. Looks like we might have some YouTubers in the community. Contact one of the mods or contact me. You know, Mark is always great to contact related to marketing things, because Mark gets things done. And yeah, with that, I think we'll conclude this. Everyone, you know, I just want to, you know, again, thank everyone so much for taking the time to listen to us today. If you have any other questions, feel free to pose them in the main chat or DM me. And again, we'll be around, but we are aggressively working toward the relaunch. And I'm still having these conversations with these larger these investors, so that, look, you might see, you know, day one it sells a lot, and day two it doesn't sell much, and maybe day three it sells a lot again, because, you know, there is no cap. There is no cap on the amount that individuals can invest. So at any given time, it may just go. And it is my intention to make that happen as soon as possible. With that,
just to highlight again real quick, Tuesday, January 18th will be the day for our second sale. So we'll obviously be providing more information about the process, how to participate, what the kind of the new updates of the application, the app online will be, and all that stuff. So just hang tight.
Absolutely. Again, thank you all so much. We really appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll be doing this again probably within the next couple weeks. Okay? Great day, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, take care. Bye.